Welcome to Challenge Accepted. I am so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining me in this inaugural podcast of Challenge Accepted. I'm super excited that you have chosen to invest a little bit of time from your life to see what the show has to offer. Many of you are waking up right now. Maybe you're commuting. Perhaps you're on the last few minutes of the exercise machine. Maybe you're a single parent trying to get your child or children off to school. There are so many scenarios to each of your lives in this moment, but you're here, and I'm grateful. The intent of this podcast is to provide a show that is impactful, meaningful, genuine, sincere, and thought-provoking, and can speak to as many of you as possible. My hope is that you can take even just a small nugget from each show that you can apply each day, each week, each month, and this to help you in your journey, as well as my own. The most exciting part of this moment is that you're here with me right now. The fact that you're even listening to this means you've already accepted the challenge. Remember this, even the baby steps matter and should be celebrated. I assume that you're here because you want to be better for tomorrow. You may have goals that you want to achieve or finally accomplish. You may want to overcome complacency or procrastination. And you may just have challenges that you just simply want to overcome. There are literally hundreds of reasons why you, my new friend, might be here. No matter the case, you have decided to be here, even if it's just to listen, to fall asleep. Whatever your reason, I'm glad. I'm Jonah. I'm your person. Let's get to it. Wow, here we are. The first of so many episodes and quality time that we get to spend together. When I began to design the content for this podcast, I researched the best way I would be able to describe the intent of Challenge Accepted. This is what I found. Challenge Accepted is a phrase used to express one's readiness and eagerness to take on a difficult task or overcome an obstacle. It signifies positive behaviors and determination to face challenges. I want to add something though. This also signifies your ability and willingness to make different choices and or decisions. I also want to speak for just a moment about the logo. The double fists signify I'm all in. This is us. And for you, hopefully, to accept the challenge by bumping your double fist back because we're in this together. So that's what the logo's about. The baby blue, well, that's one of my favorite colors. Hopefully that all made sense. I want to share something with you. A handful of years ago, I struggled with a few things at work. When challenged to get better and polish up on what I was working on, I became frustrated and annoyed because in my eyes, I was doing my best. Well, I had to be honest with myself. I actually wasn't doing my best. And it's not like I was purposefully trying to sabotage myself. However, in essence, I was not fully invested on how I could get to a place where I felt fully happy about my situation and committing to overcome this struggle. It wasn't until I chose to be more deliberate and purposeful about my approach to do better and be better. When that happened, different consequences started to happen. The consequences I like to call, and many of you have heard, are intended consequences. Basically, positive results or planning, you know that if you do one thing, you're going to get the effect of that or the result of that. I can talk more about that in another show, but I think you get the idea. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever experienced a situation where you became super excited about a goal, a project, or something else you're trying to accomplish, and not long after that, you get busy, or you lose the excitement, or basically life just gets in the way. Maybe you even got sick, or something else just distracted you from that. Something took you away from your goal and your dream. Heck, you might have even forgotten to write the goal down. Or you may have written it down and might not know where that piece of paper is anymore. Before you know it, so much time has gone by and you start to regret not even beginning. Also, you may have come down on yourself and started to beat up on yourself for not even starting that goal. First of all, don't do that. There are plenty of people out there in the world that will do that for you. Take care of you. Anyhow, this can be extremely deflating. So, what to do? As I mentioned in the intro, the fact that you're here is no accident. Even if you stumbled upon this podcast, you're still here. You've made a choice, deliberate or otherwise, to keep listening. And your decision to do so is powerful. At the risk of sounding dramatic, you're using your ability to choose. Okay, it may not be that simple, but to some degree, it is. Mind you, it might not be comparable to, say, climbing Mount Everest. However, climbing Mount Everest had to start with a choice. You see where I'm going with this? Here's the thing. There comes a time when you just have to do it. But what is it? Well, it is whatever it is you're trying to accomplish or overcome. I know, it's, like I said, it's easier said than done. I've told myself 100 times, you just have to do it. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. And I would say most times it hadn't gotten done. Look, challenge accepted is a way of thinking. What is the opposite of this way of thinking? Well, one aspect could be choosing to be a defeatist, or allowing yourself to be overcome by negativity or succumb to the naysayers of your life. Whatever the case, challenge accepted is a way to recondition your mind to positively accept the first steps to change. It is a must to accept the challenge that comes with what you are trying to accomplish or overcome. And rather than being, say, a Debbie Downer about the obstacles, since there are usually challenges or roadblocks in the things that we're trying to accomplish, why not be deliberate and purposeful about accepting those things that are inevitable? We just have to. Why? Because if we don't, guess what? This time next month, next year, you will not have started, or you will be stuck. And the thing is, we can't do that anymore. We've got to accept the challenge to break the cycle. So, where do we go from here? That's the golden question. Speaking of questions, let me ask you a question. What small, yes, small, challenge, task, or goal do you currently have that you can purposefully and consciously do that you have either been struggling to do or overcome? Whilst you're thinking about that, I want to give you another thought. So how about this? What routine task do you do on a regular basis that has become second nature and has become part of your DNA to the point you just do it and probably forgot that it was a struggle to do it in the first place, where you might have had to actually stop and reflect on how you were able to overcome that struggle? Think about that. Reflect on that so you are able to look back on something that was a struggle before and how did you overcome it. The purpose of this exercise is to show yourself that you can do it and you chose to do it. So much so that you may have forgotten that it was even a challenge in the first place. By the way, in the next episode, I will be talking about choice and the power that comes with choice. Here are a few examples of things that were challenges for you and you had to overcome them, but you made the choice to do so. Simple things. Getting up by a certain time and exercising. Heck, maybe just getting out of bed. getting to work on time, attending more of your child's sports events or recitals or choir, going from wanting to be a volunteer to becoming the leader of the volunteers. And there is so much more. Accept and celebrate that it was no accident that you overcame those challenges. Perhaps you chose a behavior of saying, challenge accepted, or you did it out of desperation, or you're still struggling to sustain that one behavior that got you there. Maybe your doctor made you do it, but you still chose to do it. Reflect on how you will feel now, and better yet, how did you feel at that time? If there was a level of excitement when you accepted that challenge, it is possible to feel that again. Do you remember the level of excitement you had when you put a written or mental plan in place to overcome that challenge? How about you do it again? Now, not try it, do it with your current goal or challenge. If you struggle to remember anything significant, don't worry. There is still hope. Let's go back to the golden question I mentioned a moment ago. What small challenge, task, or goal do you currently have that you can purposefully and consciously do that you have either been struggling to do or overcome? I would love to hear from you, my new friend, about that one, yes, just one, that one thing that you can accomplish this week. You can write direct messages to me at Challenge Accepted Now on Instagram. And my goal is to respond to as many of you as possible. I hope you will wrap your arms around this. I hope when this podcast concludes today, you can commit and say out loud, challenge accepted, and get to work. Okay, many of you may be asking yourselves, or me, if I haven't completed this yet, how the heck am I supposed to do it within a week? I too would be asking that question. Look, for most things, you should have a plan that fits the size of your task, your goal, or your challenge. Once again, this is a small thing, okay? Yes, I know. You may have some lofty goals. I'm not asking you to take that one, though. I'm really trying to impress upon you just a little thing. It's about the exercise. Also, to be clear, it's not necessarily about creating a new routine for this exercise. I'm talking about perhaps getting your laundry done by tomorrow evening, folding your laundry the night when it gets done, or tomorrow afternoon. Here are some other ones. Making that dish you've been meaning to make over the last year but have not had the time. Phoning a friend you haven't spoken to in 5 months. Getting up on your day off at a decent time to take a walk around the block. If you work from home, getting up at lunchtime to actually eat your lunch. Do you see where I'm going with this? It may seem silly, but you would be surprised on what and how you feel after doing it. Here's the takeaway. Yes, there is an element about the challenge or the struggle, but it is really and very much about accepting the challenge to show yourself the power you have within you to choose to do it. It is about the concept of using your power to take the next steps. Yes, even if they're baby steps, to prove you can do it. The more you do this, the better you will become if you continue to accept these challenges versus griping about it, or that you have to do it, or someone is making you do it. Look, you own your own power. Why let it go to waste or give your power to someone else who is making you do it? Why? You have to condition yourself to want to do it. You've got this, my new friend. By the way, it's okay to share this new adventure with friends and or family. It's also healthy to share with others the challenge you will overcome this week. Once again, I'd love to hear from you. There will be more ways in the future on how we can connect. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm super excited that you joined me this week and that you chose to listen all the way to this point. One way this podcast may help is to listen to it over and over again and pull those nuggets out that I spoke about earlier in the show. I'd like to commit and close this episode by once again committing to you, my friend, to putting out a new episode each week about the same time and day to create a purposeful way to continue on your journey with me. You can find me on Facebook at Challenge Accepted, on Instagram at Challenge Accepted Now, and in the next few weeks on YouTube at Challenge Accepted. On each of these sites, you will be able to interact with me. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like what you heard today, and share with a friend or family member. Take care and have a great week.